on to the Brownies. They set their 53-man roster. Some initial surprises, keeping 4 quarterbacks. I know there was some fake news out there. I know Mary Kay kind of put out the story that they were shopping Jameis. That turned out to be false. It sounds like there's teams calling about him, but the Browns are reluctant to move him. Obviously, you don't want to end up like last year and put all your eggs in the DTR basket. He's looked great in the preseason again. He looked great in the preseason last year, and we've seen what happened when he had to start games in the regular season. You need that veteran presence like Joe Flacco when he came in last year. Hopefully Deshaun stays healthy and we don't have to see Jameis, but it's good to have him back there. They cut Deontay Foreman. Allegedly, once they figure out the quarterback situation, which means moving Huntley, either releasing him or trading him, they're going to re-sign Foreman. So right now they have 2 running backs, Jerome Ford and Clarence's guy Pierre Strong on the roster. But it looks like Foreman will be rejoining them, and then they decided to go with 2 tight ends. I know they signed a guy, I can't remember his name, former Alabama tight end, former 3rd-round pick of a couple years ago from the 49ers. They signed him to the practice squad, but they're going to go with 2 tight ends to open the regular season. But any thoughts on the 53-man and what you'd like, maybe some additions you'd like to see, Clarence?
I was a little shocked that they did keep 4 quarterbacks. Hell, I was shocked that they even brought Huntley in to begin with, quite honestly. I mean, if you're sitting with Watson, Jameis, and DTR is supposed to be, I guess maybe not the future, but someone who can, kind of come in and spell. I wasn't sure what the exact point of bringing Huntley in was, but obviously I think he'll be the first one gone. Whoever they can get something out of for him. That was really kind of it. Like, I don't know. We kind of talked about it last week. Like, just because a guy performs in the preseason, that means shit to me. Everybody is, you're playing a bunch of 2nd and 3rd team and guys who aren't going to be in the league. So if you look good out there, then okay, fine. But we saw what Brady Quinn did against 2nd, 3rd team guys, and then when it came to the real deal, he was not as advertised. So I just kind of feel like this roster is in flux. I mean, we're still waiting on Chubb to get back. I have a hard time believing that Kevin Stefanski is going to only run 2 tight ends the entire season with everything that he's been doing over the last 4 years. So I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting to see where everything kind of falls out.
Yeah, they also brought back former Brown Mike Ford, special teams guy. He was cut by Tennessee, I believe, and we scooped him back up. A couple surprise cuts. Mike Woods, there's a lot of people that thought he might make it over David Bell, who's really done nothing, but he had 1 good game with last year. And that's pretty much been it for his NFL career. But he's made the roster. They did bring Woods back onto the practice squad. And also Justin Hardy, Cleveland's own Justin Hardy, was cut, but he was also brought back on the practice squad. So good to see him back. Derek, you have any thoughts? I know, I think, was it Jamari Thrash was named whatever the award they give for the top preseason player. He won it and won a spot, one of their draft picks. So any thoughts on the initial roster?
Yeah, kind of echoing what Clarence said and what you've alluded to, Kevin. It's important to remember that just because this is the 53 after final cutdown day, it may not be the 53 even going into week 1 here next Sunday. But was a little surprised to see him keep 4 quarterbacks. It makes me think that they have a couple people maybe jockeying for position to get Huntley. And I kind of saw them bringing in Huntley maybe as injury insurance, and also kind of like what they did with Cade York, bring him in, kind of showcase him a little bit, and then pick up a day 3 draft pick, just for the trouble of using one of the 90-man spots for training camp. But it's good to have him, in case, the wheels fall off, kind of like last year, have someone that kind of went through the off season, some of the terminology, you can never have enough of that. But yeah, only 2 running backs. I don't think that will be something that uh, holds true. And like Clarence alluded to, Kevin Stefanski loves his tight ends, so only having 2 on the roster, that probably will change here sooner rather than later as well. Unfortunately, didn't really get to watch much of the preseason and wasn't really following too closely.
You were
We pretty
fortunate.
much knew who.
You were fortunate. It wasn't shit to watch, man.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't stay up till after midnight on Saturday to watch guys that are applying at Progressive Auto Insurance right now. Go out there, but yeah, I'm excited for the season to start though. Let's get going for real. It'll be interesting to see how the offensive line shakes out. I know Conklin and Wills are both back off of the pup and on
Sort
the
of.
active roster. Yeah, they're on the roster.
Wills
but
isn't practicing yet.
yeah, right. Yeah, so that's worrisome because they don't really have anyone else that has experience playing left tackle. I know they have a Feedy or whatever, but I think he was primarily a right tackle out in Seattle. So making that switch over to the left side, which isn't the easiest thing in the world. It's not like I can't think of a good analogy, but yeah, it'll be interesting once season starts. Got Dallas coming to town, and I know we'll get into that next week's episode. But yeah, it will be a big game, and it's at home, so that's always exciting to open the season at home. And yeah, I think that all in all, it's good to see him make it through the preseason without too many injuries that are going to linger into the regular season. I know that was a big point of not playing a lot of the starters, especially Watson, when they went out to Seattle. Didn't really know what was going on with the offensive line. Don't want to put him out there in front of Swiss cheese and let Seattle tee off on them. But the Cowboys are waiting. Micah Parsons has, a little bit of a feud, I guess you could say, with Njoku and, on a podcast or something. But, so, he's not going to hold back. He's got number 4 probably hanging in his locker right now, waiting for the 8th, September 8th, the season gets started. So
Yep.
it'll be a fun game. Excited to watch it, and hopefully this season lives up to the hype. I know on paper they have the toughest schedule this season, so it's not going to be easy, but this is the season that I think Stefanski and Watson, kind of etch their names in stone with what their Cleveland legacies will be.
Or sand. Shit.
Yeah.
Kev, you brought up a name earlier, and I just got to ask y'all both. What does David Bell have on AB or Stefanski? He keeps making the team. I didn't like him when he was drafted. I'm sure he's a great human being. I get all that. But as far as a football player, whiteout from Purdue. Purdue's not like an aerial attack offense. They haven't been that way since Drew Brees, and that was a long time ago. I don't understand how he keeps making the damn team.
I don't either, especially like I said, Mike Woods is that I know had injury issues the last couple of years, but he showed flashes when he was healthy, and then that last preseason game and that last catch he made from Huntley was pretty sweet. And I mean, he did everything he needed to do to make the team. Thankfully, they were able to keep him on the practice squad along with Jalen Darden, two receivers, and Crochet too, I believe. But yeah, I don't know what he's done to deserve to be on the active roster right now. It's a head scratcher, but so I think my biggest concern is obviously the offensive line. Jed Wills was activated from the PUP list, as you said, but still not ready to practice. It was good to see Jack Conklin out there, and I know they interviewed him, and he said, I don't care if I'm playing left, right, whatever. I just want to be out there. I think he's probably the best option right now on the left side. I know he hasn't played it since his days at Michigan State, but he's a good enough player, and he's a Pro Bowl caliber player when healthy. I think he'd be fine over there, and I'd feel the most confident with him there. What's your guys' feeling on that?
I mean, I the same. I feel like, kind of like you said, the whole tackle situation, offensive line situation is another spot where it's just obviously Conklin, Wills hurt. We don't know what they're going to bring to the table. I'm kind of to the point now where, man, just throw Thanos out there and just put, I don't care, right or left side. Just put him out there and just let him work. I mean, he's big enough, obviously, and the only way he's going to get better is by playing. So, I mean, he definitely got run last year, but I mean, I don't know. We're all afraid to. They were all afraid to put Watson out there in the last preseason game because of the tackle situation. But then we're going to throw his ass out there week one, and we know the tackle situation is really not much better. Like, yeah, they're activated, but they ain't played. So that's just kind of my thoughts. I'm a big Thanos guy. I want to see him on the field as much as possible.
Yeah, same here.